Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Devils TV. Now this is your Manchester United derby preview. I am so excited for this match, by the way. It feels like a movie. It feels like for everything that Ten Hag has been progressing over the last few weeks and few months since that embarrassing defeat to Manchester City, the progression that United have shown since that embarrassing defeat to City. It's like a story, it's like a series, and this is the final chapter. This is It feels like we're made to win. City are in current bad form, you could say. United are in excellent form. It's the storyline is that the hero, Manchester United, are meant to win. If United lose on Saturday, it feels like everything that Ten Hag has currently built, all the excitement, all the hype, everything that United fans have been looking forward to just dies for nothing. And that would feel like a character in a main series just getting killed off. It makes no sense. United need to win on Saturday just to show how far United have come. Because if we lose on Saturday, embarrassingly, like we did at the Etihad a few months ago, it feels like all that progression is for nothing, and we're still not as big as we thought we are. But we've also got to realise that if we're banking on beating Manchester City due to their injuries, is quite embarrassing. Now, obviously, I believe Jack Grealish was supposed to be injured, says FootMob, which I saw on their app, but he played last night against the 2-0 loss to Southampton, so maybe he's not fully fit, so I don't think he'll play. Obviously the likes of Kyle Walker had a howler and he played last night for the full 90 minutes, so I hardly doubt that he will play in the derby as well, which will bring on to my predicted 11 in a moment. I'm going to do it for Manchester United and Manchester City because I want to compare the way that both teams are going to be lining up at weekend. So I'm just really looking forward to this game. Pep Guardiola is obviously says he's got something up his sleeve, as he always does. He likes to, what was the quote? He likes to be more wild with when he plays Manchester United or something. I watched the interview last night when City lost to Southampton, and Gundogan did his interview, and he was trying to hold back his laughter when asked about the Manchester derby. Honestly, I feel like City at this point, their egos are too high up. They think we're going to be the same team like we were when we lost a 6-3 at the Etihad. But I'm telling you, Manchester City fans, Pep Guardiola, City players, if you are watching this right now, it is going to be a complete different game. Varane went off after the first goal went in for City, and that's what caused our defence to just fall apart. 2, we didn't have Casemiro, the best holding midfielder in the league, not your Spanish fraud. Casemiro has been one of the greatest players in the Premier League this season, hands down alone. You could say that's down to recency bias, but the ways you talk about Erling Haaland being the greatest striker the Premier League's ever seen, the way that you talk about how Pep Guardiola is the greatest manager the Premier League's ever seen, complete biasry. And if I am being biased, then that's your opinion. But to me, from what I've seen from Casemiro, is something that United haven't had in years. And it's well known, the fact that for the last 2 to 3 years we've had McTominay and Fred as our holding midfielders. We've had 2 players doing a one-man's job, and Casemiro is that one man. He allows us to have that extra midfielder. He allows us to play so high like we are doing. He allows the fullbacks to become more attacking as he drops back and becomes a central defender almost. He helps with the high line, he helps with interceptions, he's great at pressing, his passing ability is getting much better. I love Casemiro, and he is going to be this game changer. He's going to be the reason why Manchester United win it. I'm not going to say he's going to score the winning goal, but he's going to control that midfielder. He's going to control that midfield. And Gundogan's going to have a hard time. De Bruyne's going to have a hard time. And it's going to force a player like Rodri to come more forward, which United will hit City on the break and will win this game. My score prediction is going to be 3-2 Manchester United. I think it's going to be an absolute ruthless game. I think it's going to be an old-fashioned derby where you're on your edge of your seat for the constant 90 minutes. There's going to be fight. No, I wouldn't say there's going to be fights, but I'm going to say that the players are going to be up for it. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be players frustrated. There's going to be players who make mistakes, and I honestly can't wait. I've not been this excited for a derby in ages, and I said that in my last preview for Manchester City and United, but this feels so much different, and I honestly really can't wait for it. So the predicted 11 I've gone for Manchester United may be a controversial one, but this is what I would line up with. I would line up with David De Gea, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw, Casemiro, Fred, Bruno Fernandes, Antony, Rashford, Martial. That would be my starting 11 for Manchester United, and I'll tell you why. David De Gea is a clear option due to the fact that he's our best goalkeeper. Wan-Bissaka, I feel like he's just been a better option than Dalot has been in over recent times, plus Dalot went off injured with a strain on his thigh, I think it was, against the Charlton game. So I would not risk that injury being any more severe. Varane and Martinez, they're just class, and they're our best centre-backs. Luke Shaw, I feel like he's a proper bastard in this type of game. He's going to be a player who's going to be pushing the wingers, who's going to be making it difficult for everyone involved who faces him. He's going to have one of the games of his life, I think Luke Shaw will. I've already pretty much explained Casemiro. I think he's going to be the difference in the midfield for why Manchester United win this game. Fred, I feel like that the reason why I've chose Fred over Eriksen, by the way, is because I feel like that Fred, his recent cameos coming off the bench have been very good. He had a good game against Charlton as well, getting that assist for Antony. I feel like that Fred's playing very well at the moment, and I feel like Fred also gets stuck into tackles a lot more than other like Eriksen. I feel like Eriksen backs off way too much, and I want to see Fred start in this game, which may be controversial, but that's just my opinion. I just feel like that bringing Eriksen on if we need extra creativity later on into the game is where Eriksen will shine. That's just in my opinion though. Bruno Fernandes, he's pretty much had a week off, which is brilliant. He obviously was suspended for the Charlton game, but we didn't need him, so him having that week off is going to be amazing. And I feel like that Bruno is one of them passion players who's going to give it his all for the Manchester derby on Saturday. So yeah, Antony, I think you've just got to keep playing him. You've just got to... I wouldn't say he's in bad form, but unless he scores a goal, he really doesn't do too much else. He doesn't do anything that's really exciting. He doesn't really create a lot. He doesn't seem to be as much of a team player at the moment. He just seems to be very simple at the moment, and I hope he does improve, and that will come over time. But he is pretty much a one-trick pony at the moment, and him being against Cancelo, for me, will be a bit of an issue, because I feel like Cancelo versus Antony is going to be a bit of a battle. Martial, he's had a week off, which is brilliant, because, well, with the season we've currently had, it's literally the same situation as Bruno. Some of our first 11 players, like Luke Shaw as well, have had a week off, so they'll be raring to go. Think of what happened last night against Southampton versus City, right? Southampton were 2-0 up by half-time, and Pep Guardiola panicked and brought on 5 substitutions from his first 11. So them players, even though they were on for 30 to 40 minutes, they've still used that energy. And I was seeing the players like Phil Foden, I was seeing players like Gundogan, Rodri, Cancelo. They were running around, even Kevin De Bruyne, they were running around trying to hunt that ball back from Southampton. Southampton just were incredible last night, and I think that will be to Manchester United's advantage. And finally, the last player, Marcus Rashford. He's currently United's best forward. I feel like that he's going to play absolutely incredible against this certain player I'm going to mention in the City starting 11, and I'm just going to mention it quickly now, Rico Lewis, because as I mentioned, I don't think Kyle Walker will play on Saturday, and Rico Lewis, who is, to be honest, he's a good prospect, but I've seen a lot of City fans who have been very critical of him, which is surprising to me because I see it and I see a good player there, but I don't think he's ready for the derby. I honestly think this is Marcus Rashford's dream, opponent. The fact that Marcus Rashford is about, I think he's about 4 inches taller than him, and I saw on the Premier League app, Rico Lewis's fastest sprint compared to Marcus Rashford's fastest sprint this season. Marcus Rashford has had, I think it's a 1.7 faster sprint than Rico Lewis. That will be seeing the difference. And if Marcus Rashford runs at Rico Lewis and puts him under pressure, he's going to panic. And it's not like it's at the Etihad. We're at Old Trafford, the fortress, the theatre of dreams. It's going to be a world-class game. It's going to be one of the best derbies since Rooney's overhead kick. I can't wait for this derby. But like I mentioned, I'm going to mention City's starting 11 now. So this is the starting 11 that I would mention. It's going to be Ederson. We all know that. Their backup goalkeeper had a howler against Southampton. Rico Lewis, as I've mentioned, at right back, who'll be marking Marcus Rashford. I feel like Akanji and John Stones will be the centre-backs. I feel like that... Cancelo will be the left back, which, as I've already mentioned, will be a good battle, or a tough battle for Anthony, but it'll be a great battle throughout the game. I feel like Rodri will be the holding midfielder, and I feel like the other midfield two will be Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne. The wingers, I'm gonna go for, because I don't think he'll play Grealish, I'm going to go for Riyad Mahrez and Phil Foden. I feel like that they're going to be the wingers for Manchester City. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like that he'll be putting Phil Foden on the left-hand side to be making them crosses for Erling Haaland. And he will probably consist with an overlap with Cancelo, and Cancelo will be making them inverted runs as Phil Foden makes the overlapping runs to making them wide crosses. Because as I notice, Phil Foden likes to keep his distance away from the defence to create dangerous balls for Erling Haaland. And obviously the striker, I've just mentioned him, Erling Haaland. But as I saw last night, and I mentioned on Twitter, that Erling Haaland, for me, is the better player out of him and Mbappe. But Mbappe is better at creating. Mbappe can create something out of nothing. Haaland needs the service. If you give Haaland and Mbappe the same service, the 10 same crosses, I guarantee Haaland scores all 10 and Mbappe scores about 7 or 8. But Mbappe can create something out of nothing. He's very good with his feet. He's very technical. He's very fast. Haaland's fast, but he's very clunky, I think, where he can't dribble past an entire defence and score like Mbappe can. So if we can not penetrate, if we can... I'm trying to think what the word is. If we can... not postpone. If we can terminate City from creativity with Casemiro, the likes of Fred and Bruno constantly pressuring that midfield, and the fullbacks and wingers do their job into making sure that City don't create, like what Southampton did, then Haaland's out the game. And that's what we failed to do in the last derby. Even though City beat us 6-3, that scoreline was pretty... The scoreline it doesn't speak for what the match was. Manchester City battered us, and if it wasn't for a lucky penalty and Martial substitution late on, it would have ended 6-1. So yeah, I just think that it's going to be a complete different game. It's not going to be another massacre like City made it last derby, but I just can't wait for this derby. And I liked how Pep Guardiola said for an interview with Sky Sports, he made a comment saying I'm a genius or something. I think it was the Riyad Mahrez substitution or something like that, or he substituted a certain player and said I'm a genius or something like that. Well, I can tell you, you will not be saying that after the Saturday. 12:30 kickoff. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait for it. Sorry this preview's gone a bit longer than what they normally do, but it's a Manchester derby. I'm a United fan. We're against our local rivals, and Manchester is going to be painted red. I cannot wait. If you're this far into the video, please remember to like, subscribe, comment and share. It really helps out the channel. Red Devils TV is going on the up this year. We're going to have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and Red Devils TV will be a big name that everyone knows about. We're coming for the top spot of Manchester United fan content. So anyway, thank you for watching today's video. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment and share, as I've already said. Leave your comments down below of your score predictions, your starting 11s, whatever you want to say, your opinions on the game, or how you think Ten Hag will set up. I want you and the audience to interact in the comments and let me know your thoughts. But yes, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.